everyone, I'm Ryan. You're watching 60 Cycle Hum, and in this video, I'm going to ask you a question, a deeply personal question, and you don't have to answer right now. You can wait till the end of the video, but I'm going to ask you, do you need a compressor? Do you? Do you need a compressor? Think about it. Just think about it. And while you're thinking about it, watch this video because this video is about a compressor. It's about the MIRA optical compressor by Walrus Audio. MIRA is Espanol for look. Get it? Look. Look at the compressor. It's an optical compressor. You can see it. You can see it. You can look at it. MIRA el compresor. Look at the compressor. So anyways, look at it. Here it is. What do we have here? We have a compressor with 7 knobs on it and a little side switchy thing here. So obviously there is a lot of ground to cover. Let's not waste any more time. I want to get into it. I'm going to use my PRS Silver Sky SE into the 2 Princeton's rig, of course. There's my clean signal from the bridge pickup on the Silver Sky, and here is the MIRA. I have everything on noon. It's not any sort of special particular setting. It's just where we're starting out. You can really hear that compressor click. It's compressing. It's doing the thing. So let's check out the range of all these knobs and then get into some fun experimenting and stuff like that. We're gonna start off with the threshold knob. This controls the range of your peaks and the top end of your signal. And on this side, it's wide open. Your signal's free to breathe, it's not compressed. And as you turn it to the left, it brings down that level and squashes your peaks and compresses them down, 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 until your entire signal fits into a much smaller compressed space and all your peaks are down there with all the quiet parts of your signal mixing together. So here it is wide open. Here it is in the middle. And here it is clamped all the way down. And of course, with all that clamping and compressing, you've got to bring the volume level back up. Set it back to a more normal setting there. Here is the ratio knob. This goes all the way to 1:1, which means no compression at all. It's just your signal, 1:1 representation, and all the way up to 20:1. Let's make it extreme. Threshold all the way down, ratio all the way up. We've got that volume level up to compensate already, but there's 2 different ways to control the volume on here. You've got the level and you have the makeup. The makeup's is a gain control, and it pushes into the compressor a little bit harder and causes a harder kind of like thumpy, clicky sort of thing to go on, and just, you know, gives you some saturation and makes it sound really pretty. So let's roll back the level and then dime that makeup. That is really, really extreme with that threshold all the way cranked down and the ratio all the way up. Let's do something more normal here. Go through the range of this. Put it all the way back up again. Yeah. I'm not someone who uses a lot of heavy compression. I tend to set my compressors to be more like studio compressors that just kind of like fatten everything up a little bit. But I have to admit, that sounds pretty sweet. It's got that really sweet, syrupy, like pedal steel sort of sustain and sound to it. Oh, man, that is a hard clicking compressor. If you're wondering how that would sound, hitting a surfy, drippy spring reverb, you're not gonna have to wonder too long because I'm definitely gonna do that in this video. But first, let's get to the rest of this pedal. We'll pull back that makeup quite a bit. We'll start checking out the attack, release, and blend control. Attack controls how quickly the compressor is applied to your signal. So turn that all the way up and you'll hear a nice hard click. I actually think that is the slower setting. To the left, I think it gets much faster, but it kind of erases, not erases, but pulls back that click a little bit. Yeah, when it's slower, you can really feel it, like whoomp, whoomp, whoomp. When it's faster, it's a bit more immediate. I mean, you still get that pop. That's interesting. Felt quite a bit smoother with that speed up. Bit more natural with the attack turned up. Now let's check out the release. The release controls how gradually and smoothly the compressor is effect, or the length of the release of the effect. You can see it fade out there. On the other side, it's immediate. You can see that because it's an optical compressor. You can look at it. Mira el compressor. If you're looking for more sustain, you turn it up, obviously. Turn that all the way up. Now the blend control. The blend does exactly what you think it'll do. On the left, it's blended the compressor all the way out. This pedal gives you a lot of ways to blend it out. You can blend back to a completely unaffected sound in quite a few different ways, honestly. And then you turn it all the way up and you get just full-blown, over-the-top compression. Let's take this opportunity to dial in the most extreme setting possible here. Then, of course, you can blend it back. Even with it blended back pretty far, that's a fairly compressed signal. It's just not as over the top as this. Blend it back and get nice and smooth though. I think that sounds great. All right, now there's one last thing to show off, the little side chain side switch here. I'm gonna read what the manual says because I'm not really smart enough to fully understand it. I've messed around with it a bit and I haven't heard like a major difference. I think it's for the bassists and the studio people and the people with a really picky ear. HPF. When engaged, the HPF switch introduces a high-pass filter in the side chain, the part of the circuit that controls the optical element in the compressor. Use this when you want to prevent bass frequencies, 120 Hz or below, from engaging the compressor as much as the higher frequencies. This will keep the compressor from overworking on lower notes, which tend to have more amplitude and can cause the compressor to not respond to your playing as well. This filter is finely tuned and will be most noticeable when playing instruments with greater lower frequency content like bass guitar and keeping low frequency dynamics dramatic for guitar players. Leave the switch out for normal operation and to engage the HPF. So yeah. Let's go for a fully extreme setting here. See if we can hear a difference. Let's grab the bass. And I know I'm not using a bass amp right now, so this isn't going to be the best sort of shootout here. Now with it out. There is a difference there. Yeah, sounds better in with the bass. What do you know? It does something. It's just not detectable with regular guitar. Those of you watching on your iPhones right now, in the bathroom on the toilet, probably won't hear a difference on your little tiny speakers. Now I want to get into a little bit of experimenting. I want to try putting a drive before it and then after the same drive to see what the differences are. I'm going to do the same thing with my Surfy Bear spring reverb here. Reverb before and then reverb after to see what happens. So let's start with the drive. Historically, I've always used compression before the dirt on my pedal board. So I'm going to start with that, do the normal thing that I do, and then I'm going to try this after the dirt, which is something I don't normally do on my pedal board. I do it while recording, Of course, you've got to sweeten up your signal with some compression in post when you're recording. But what I'm wondering is, because this is a fairly smooth, like blendable studio style compressor, should I be using this somewhere else in my signal chain instead of just slamming it in front of a bunch of drives to get sustain and to push my drives like like a fancy boost? Maybe I should have it later in my chain to apply like studio style compression to all my distortions and dirts and whatnot. But we're going to start out with the way I'm used to doing things, with the drive after. So this is the JHS overdrive preamp, which is a DoD 250 style pedal. Go to the number 2 position on the guitar. So what the compressor is going to do is it's going to limit that dynamic range. And it's going to make it so that my signal, no matter if I'm playing light or really digging in, is going to hit the drive in a much more similar, more homogeneous sort of way, which is great for like throwing on a compressor into your drives and getting just this like screaming, sustained lead tone, you know? So let's check that out and see what kind of trouble we can get into here. Yeah, the gain change is much slighter than it was before. You can hear that I'm digging in or playing lightly, but the amount of gain is much more uniform. And you can hear all the sustain that buys you too. Like using a compressor into a drive to get these long singing sustaining notes is just, it's just a fun thing to do. It's a reason to have a compressor on your board if you're into like playing leads and having that singing, sustaining, compressed distortion and overdrive. let's put this in front. Oops. Let's put this in front of the compressor now. This is going to be new territory for me. One of the reasons why I picked a 250 style pedal for this little experiment is because it's a fairly dynamic, but also spiky and gritty, loose, gritty style overdrive, which is why I love that circuit so much. But I want to see what happens when I run into a compressor. Will it tame the spikiness? Will it pull it back and make it feel maybe fizzier? I'm wondering if I can make it feel like a tube screamer in a way where it's tighter and fizzier and obviously more compressed. And what's going to be interesting about this is that the dynamic range of the gain of the clipping won't be affected by the compressor. I'll still have that with my playing going into the drive, but then maybe the clipping itself will be filtered and controlled by the compressor. That's interesting. Go extreme. Kind of makes it really bright and almost lo-fi. Compression nuts, people who spend a lot of time using compressors. Tell me what you think. Tell me what I should try. I'm not someone who uses compressor in this way. Am I missing a trick? All the compressor people out there, I'm relying on you and everyone else is relying on you. If we get a really good comment explaining some really good details and some really info and dropping some really good info on us, I'll pin it to the top of the comments. I'll do it. Unless they get a rude or nasty comment, then I'm going to pin that. Let's move on to the reverb, but I think that's very compelling. I think there's something there. I think it sounded pretty natural to me at times. It did a good job of kind of warming and fattening up the signal the way I would expect like a compressor in post-processing to do. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, now for the Surfy Bear. I'm going to start with it behind the compressor. It's definitely not going to fit in this shot. Wow, man, that drip. But can it be better? Let's see if hitting that with a compressor can make it drip even more. It didn't make it drip less, I'll say that. Let's pull that back a little bit. It's a bit intense, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that hard pop from the MIRA. It really triggers that drip. Extra special. I can't believe I never thought of trying that before. I mean, there's a difference in the output of the signal. Like, this is filling out the signal, and it feels like it's really bringing those mids up front, making the guitar sound a little bit less hollow, which might not be ideal for, you know, some various surf stands and things like that. But you can't deny that pop of the compressor, that hard click, is pushing that drip in a really, really fun way. Well, I answered my question from the beginning of the video. Yeah, I need a compressor. Yeah, I think a compressor is gonna end up being part of the recipe for my surf tone here in the near future. I wish my band was active right now. Jeez. I have all this gear now. I didn't have all this gear when my band was active. I was doing everything just kind of like shoestring and duct tape together. That sounds so good. And that's a pretty extreme setting, but I mean, it gets the point across, doesn't it? Let's try it with the Surfy Bear in front of the MIRA. MIRA el compressor. look at the compressor. Now I'm assuming I'll be able to dial this in similar to a studio compressor where it just fattens up the whole signal. I don't think it's gonna take that drip and really do too much to it. If anything, it might squish the drip a little bit and take that sweet little like high frequency off the top. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. Yeah, it just is. I'll mess with different settings, but that just squishes the drip into more of a thud. It stretches that trail out though. Yeah, that trail goes a lot longer now. So I've pulled everything back and I made the attack as slow as it can go, so maybe it'll let that drip come in a little bit better. Yeah, now it's there. I'm not sure that I would do that. I think I would leave the compression after the reverb for studio use. I don't think I would use it in a live setting. It's really the difference that is good there is a sort of difference that could be made just by turning the amp a little bit more, pushing those tubes a little bit harder, getting tube compression, getting, you know, speaker drive and things like that. It's more of like a volume difference and saturation difference than it is about, you know, sweetening up that drip or, you know, like limiting things. I want this to breathe. I want the spring reverb to have a chance to get crazy and crashy and have these bright, like spiky artifacts and things like that. I don't want to tame it. But if you do want to tame it, I guess the compressor is a way to go, isn't it? That's interesting. All right, what do you guys think of the MIRA? Did you enjoy looking at it? It's an optical compressor. You're supposed to look at it. You're supposed to see it. Do you feel like you saw it? people who know what an optical compressor is and why it's called an optical compressor are feverishly correcting me in the comments section. And it's a joke, guys. I'm just being silly. But anyways, huge thanks to Walrus Audio for sending this out to me. I'm having a bunch of fun messing around with it. And it's been a long while since I demoed a compressor, and I've learned a lot about compression since then. So thank you for taking a chance on me, despite me not being a normal compressor user, because I was, I'm excited to get another shot at demoing a compressor. So anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me a rude and nasty comment. Support us on Patreon. Buy a shirt if you're naked, and stay grounded. Bye, everybody.